Pigeon pose is one of my favorites. Now, with pigeon, as with any pose, it should not hurt. If it hurts, try a different variation to see if you can make it accessible for you. So for pigeon, a great place to start, a lot of times, is down dog or even a low lunge. We're gonna start with a low lunge, and I'm gonna bring the ground a little closer with some blocks here. Now, just for the sake of this one, I'm gonna move my blocks forward, walk, I have my right foot forward, right foot goes over to the left side, and I come onto the knife edge of that right foot. As my right knee comes down, I'm already starting to feel the stretch in the outside of my right hip. And this is where some people feel like, oh no, I can't do this pose, I'm gonna die, right? So if that's you, grab a block, put it under your hip, and let yourself lower the hip down onto that block. Might have to play with it a little bit and see where you can provide the best support here. There we go, right on the hip. And my right knee goes down toward the mat, okay? You can stay upright, you can lower the chest down a little bit, whatever feels good for you. So if you've got the block, stick with it. If you don't have a block and you feel like, oh no, I can do this with, with no pain or anything, it feels good to stretch like this, now you can play around with moving the foot either closer into the hips to kind of minimize the intensity, or bring the shin more parallel to the front of the mat to maximize the stretch here. Now, wherever you are, block or no block, foot forward or closer to the hips, it's very important that your hips are square to the front of the mat. This is kind of a weird position to think of square hips. So a nice way to remember it is that with the right leg forward, left hip bone is pressing down into the mat. I'm gonna switch sides to show you what that would look like on this side. So notice here in my pigeon, left leg is forward. There's a tendency to kind of lean left just to get this, beautiful shape of a pigeon. But my right hip is now pointed kind of out to the side. So I'm gonna pull that right hip down, and wow, that really changes the stretch here, all right? So hips are square, hip points are both down toward the mat, and then you have some things you can play with here. You can tuck the back toes, lift the knee if you want. You could make it a really active pigeon by lifting the back knee and even the hips. See if you can come upright. Ooh, I feel it, right? Or you could intensify the stretch maybe by bending the back knee, grabbing a little mermaid grip here. You can always work, I didn't grab my strap today, but you could grab the strap around the back foot, hips and shoulders, chest square to the front, and work toward your king pigeon, reaching for that back foot. There's a lot you can do to play around with pigeon. So do what feels good, not necessarily what looks good, and just remember, hips square to the mat, and use a block to support the bottom hip if you need it.